Hey, look, Hannah. Um, here is here is here is the point that you're at your life. Okay, it's 9:38 in Miami time. Okay, so what you described is a lot of questions across different epochs of time that touch on cosmology, astronomy, planetary science, evolution, etc., etc. You know all the deep questions, right? And then you jumped forth to talk about Noah's Ark. And this is the point in your life when you have to make a choice. Do you have a scientific outlook on the world where you are a reductionist and you use empirical evidence and a scientific method to understand the world from that point of view? Or are you going to go down the path of the basic Judeo Christian belief of denying history, denying evolution, believing in fairy tales like Noah's Ark when there's not a single shred of evidence for Noah's Ark? Okay, in terms of a debate, we could debate that, but not right now. That's a tangent, Hannah. How is there evidence? Okay, Hannah, do, do you know the premise of Noah's Ark? Explain to me your understanding from the Bible of what happened. Yeah, no, just jump. Listen, Hannah, skip and jump past the mean people that God judged, and let me tell you that Christians believe a flood covered the whole world and destroyed all the animals except for the ones that Noah took on his ark. Are you telling me that you are subscribing to that belief system? Really? Honestly? Yeah, no, it's your choice to believe that, okay? But Hannah, you have to understand and appreciate that that belief it No, I know, Hannah. Listen, I'm not belittling your beliefs. I'm not berating you, but you have to appreciate that believing in that event, that individual event where one individual decides to save the biodiversity that exists today, that mitigates, Hannah, 400 years of biology, ecology, uh, paleobiology, archaeology. That that idea mitigates and makes irrelevant all those branches of science. Are you really willing to turn your back on all those sciences for one fairy tale? Yeah, Hannah. Today is 2 days before Christmas, okay? Okay, okay, so when I do um, a Google a Google days before Christmas, hang on. Yeah, I know, but I'm using the clock, so I'm counting. What's the 22nd? So the 23rd, the 24th. So I'm counting up to the 24th. So call it 2 days before Christmas, okay? Right, right. Now, I've been doing a countdown on Facebook called the Chromosomes Before Christmas, okay? Yeah, it's all tongue in cheek. It's just banter, but it's me allowing the expression of structural biology, molecular evolution, genetics, etc., etc. Do you know the etiology, the history of our second chromosome? No, okay, I know. No, I know, Hannah. Listen, maybe I I wasn't sure if you remembered this fact that I told you or not, but let me explain, Hannah. Let me explain to you and keep your attention the history of our second chromosome if you're interested. If you're not, we don't go down this road. Can I explain it to you? Okay, listen. The central premise of evolution is descent from a common ancestor. That's one of the main points of evolution, okay? Descent from a common ancestor. How many I won't be rhetorical, but I'll tell you that every primate has 48 pairs of chromosomes, okay? That's a fact. We have 46 pairs of chromosomes, okay? Hannah, 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 did you follow me so far? We have 46 pairs of chromosomes. Do you know why? Chromosome is the gross structure of a part of our DNA. All of our DNA is divided up into chromosomes, which gets parceled with other proteins to make it manageable by a cell, because a cell is nothing but a machine. What's that? Because, Hannah, I'm not smart. I only have understanding and knowledge, which I'm departing on to you, and you don't know this knowledge, so I'm just trying to explain to you chromosome number 2. Let me get to my point. The reason why we have 46 pairs of chromosomes and primates have 48 pairs of chromosomes is because roughly, I think, 5 or 6 million years in the distant past, two chromosomes fused together, Hannah. So, the ancestor of all modern primates and humans was a hominid, which had, 4 limbs and a brain. Those two chromosomes fuse together to make our second chromosome, which has roughly 240 odd million base pairs. If you look at our chromosome, you see that in the middle of each arm, the Q arm and the P arm, the short arm and the long arm, the middle of a chromosome has a region called the centromere. So our second chromosome has two ancient centromeres in the middle of the short arm and the Q arm. It also has what's called telomeric sections, which are the end caps of a chromosome. You know your shoelaces. You're familiar that on the end of a shoelace is a hard plastic bit that stops it from unraveling? Okay, that has a name to which I forget, but that stops the shoelace from unraveling. So the end of a chromosome has a section called a telomere, which keeps the DNA from basically unraveling, keeping it in layman's terms, okay? When you look at our chromosome, our second... well, when I say look at, that's a misnomer for doing a genetic study, looking at it topologically, looking at how it stains, and then Hannah, I'm talking about looking at the exact base pair sequence, okay? It is absolute proof positive, undeniable fact evidence that humans and all primates evolved from a common primate ancestor. It's absolutely beautiful molecular biology I'm describing to you. What's that? We have us and apes and gibbons and New World monkeys, we all evolved from a primate common ancestor. However, here's another little trick with the chromosomes. It's, I think, chromosome 18. There's a big what's called an inversion where a whole chunk of DNA is flipped upside down. Imagine going to a bookshelf, Hannah, and spreading your arms and taking out 12 books, flipping them upside down and putting them back on the bookshelf backwards and upside down, okay? That's an inversion. Are you following me? Well, there is an inversion in our genome that we have and apes have, but New World monkeys don't have. So that just means that there was a branch in the phylogenetic tree that they're on a slightly different branch. So there is no mistakes in the fossil record, in molecular evidence. Everything supports evolution. There is not a single scientific fact that is in contradiction to evolution. Okay, but Hannah, for example, in the world there are beliefs and there is knowledge, okay? Let me explain to you the difference with an example from Sir Frederick Hoyle. Fred Hoyle was an English astronomer, okay? Hannah, he wrote a paper that won the Nobel Prize on stellar nuclear genesis. He and several of his co-workers, they they wrote a paper on the origin of atomic elements that is formed in the center of stars, because stars cook up the atoms that the universe has today, okay? But here's an important fact. Fred Hoyle, to my memory, he believed the universe was static. He believed the universe did not have an origin some 13.71 billion years in the past. He had a belief that made him overlook a lot of very good evidence, and he was basically, I think, a Big Bang denier, okay? And although he was an author of that original paper and his friends won the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Prize Committee, they overlooked him, Hannah, for the Big Bang, for the Nobel Prize in physics, because of his silly beliefs about denying the Big Bang. So the danger of having beliefs that are not in keeping with reality is that you are shunned and ostracized by the scientific community. And Fred Hoyle, he deserved the Nobel Prize, but because he said a lot of very stupid things that were very unscientific, the Nobel Committee overlooked him. So, in terms of denying that evolution happened, you are turning your back on literally hundreds of millions of pages of well thought out, peer-reviewed, very intuitive, logical, very good research to subscribe to the other side of the coin, which is dogma, which is belief, which is supposition, which is stuff that's not in keeping with the natural history of the Earth and the universe. Well, I know you're 10, but when you're older and you're in university, you're going to be surrounded by a lot of educated people. And I know, so you're 9, but in the future, right? In the future, when you are at university, you're going to be surrounded by educated people. And in some cases, with educated people, you cannot tell them, I don't believe in evolution. Yeah, you can believe in God all you want. He might or might not exist. That's separate from the debate on common human origins, which has been proven. Hannah, listen, let me explain to you the origin of Hannah, the spaghetti monster. It was only 2005 that Bobby Henderson invented the religion, okay? And it's a spoof religion. The whole point of it is that all religions around the world are ubiquitous. They're arbitrary. They're all invented. They're all just belief systems that are created by the civilizations that dream them up. You know, if you but no, Hannah, that's not what science is. Science is a framework for. Okay, yes, there was, Hannah. Do you know any evidence for the Big Bang? No, more specifically, 13.71 billion years ago, plus or minus 100 million years. There's loads of No, humankind is not that old. Humankind is only roughly 250,000 years old. Do you know any evidence for the Big Bang? Will I tell you one piece of evidence for the Big Bang? The cosmic background radiation. And yes, there's loads of other, there's lots of evidence for the Big Bang. For example, well, you got to spend the rest of your life, reading books on cosmology and seeing what. No, but I just mean, Hannah, what I mean is that you got to see what all the options are, you got to weigh them up, and you got to look at the evidence for or against, and you got to decide. I like inflation, I like the Big Bang, I like the static universe model. You got to look at all the models and pick one. For example, Hannah, Einstein. Hey, listen, Einstein made a mistake. Okay, it was the greatest blunder of his life. No, no, not that equation. He, in his general relativity, had the Einstein field equations, okay? And one of the equations, it showed that when you solve the equation, loosely speaking, it showed that the universe was expanding, okay? But Einstein, again, he had a belief. A belief is just a supposition. It's not based on any fact. He believed the universe was static. And what he did to make the equation equal, he added what's called the Einstein constant, okay? About 8 years later, Hubbard, Fred, is it Hubble? You know the name Hubble? Okay, listen, Hannah. Hubble proved that the galaxies. What? No, I haven't got to my point, Hannah. No. Why did you interrupt me when I was explaining Einstein's only and greatest mistake? Yeah. Hannah, Hannah, are you not interested to know what Einstein's greatest mistake was? Okay, not really. Okay, I won't bother then. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you my point, Hannah. He had a belief the universe was static. His equation showed the universe was expanding. He added a constant to make the equation balance, and 5 or 8 years later, Hubble proved the universe was expanding, and it was shown that Einstein had a mistake when the evidence was right before him in his field equations. Yet he changed the equation because of a belief. So here I've explained to you: Einstein made a mistake because of a belief. Hoyle made a mistake because of a belief. In science, there's no scope for belief. You got to have a hypothesis, and you got to test it. Then you accept or you accept or you reject your model on how the world is. And all science is a construct for understanding the history, the structure of the universe at all scales of complexity for all time frames. That's all it is. Hello. Okay, so hang up for me.